So here we are in our little solar system here, and we're looking out into the sky around us, and the backdrop to the sun now has moved on, as it does. We're in the last gateway in that pale blue section in the top right-hand corner there, the last gateway in the spleen center in human design. And this is now gateway number 44. So we've gone through the whole 7 gateways in the spleen center. We started out with the 46, which was the gateway of recognizing love of the body, appreciation for the physical, because it takes you into places where all kinds of things can take place for us. And then we've gone through each one of these gateways that is aligned with our sense of health and well-being, our sense of alertness, our sense of presence. And now we've come to the 44, the gateway I call patterns. Right up in the top corner there, it's in the sign of Scorpio. It has a broken line at the bottom and then a whole bunch of solid lines above it. It's the very last one of this yin half of the wheel. And so we started out in gateway number 2, diametrically opposites. And in that yellow quarter down there, the number 2 gateway, the most receptive. And every single gateway, all the way around to the 44 now, the bottom trigram has had the broken line right at the bottom of it. Each one of those 32 hexagrams. And now we're in the very last one, the 44. And we're about to go into the yang season in gateway number 1. So this is with the receptivity as the base of everything so far this year. So as the sun goes into this 44th gateway, it enters into the life theme we call the 4 directions. 4 directions. The 44 is the gateway that's called coming to meet. I call it the gateway of patterns, in that as something approaches, coming to meet is not the same thing as going to meet. Coming to meet is where things come to you and you get this instant hit. You get this instant sensation, this instinct of what it is that's coming at you. And I call the gateway patterns because literally from a single instinct, you can get a whole tapestry. You get the whole weave. You get the whole sense of what it is that's coming towards you. So necessarily instinct here opens up this whole arena of cellular memory, of accessing a whole scenario from just a single glance or a single sensation, a single instinct. Instinct's a fascinating word in a sense that, it smells fishy. I smell a rat. Where's the logic in that? There's nothing about logic at all. It's a pure sense that something is out of whack, out of balance. But also the smell of money, the smell of rain, all of these instinctual sensations can come to us. So 44, the gateway of coming to meet, right? It's a directional gateway, movement. The earth is in the 24, the gateway of returning. And the 24 is the gateway of the rotating mind, the refining mind process. It's in the top of the mind center. And it gets onto something, it accesses something, and then will not leave it alone until there's a resolution of some sort. It's the refining mind. Round and round and round and round it goes. You want a really perfect answer to something on a mental level? The 24 does that. So the 44 has the movement out, gets the instinct. The 24 then cogitates and ruminates. And what is this thing? What is this experience that I'm walking into here? On the unconscious side, the unconscious sun in gate 33, another directional gate, retreat. Right? The 33 is in the lower corner of the throat center. It's one of the storytelling gates. It's part of the oral tradition. In basically, stories can be verbalized. And necessarily in all stories, one looks to see, is there a moral to it? Is there a completion to it? Does the thing come to a good finale? And so the 33's job is to sit with something until it all settles in. People with the 33, you'll find, wherever it is in your design, whatever planet's activating that, you'll find, part of your life is to sit tight with things, to meditate, to ruminate, to cogitate, to let things settle within you until they ultimately make sense or they wrap up and you just say, well, that's the end of that story. That's the completion of that particular life experience. And then on the unconscious earth side, the 19, Another directional gate, the gateway of approach, reaching out to find out what does everybody need here. Right? What's the environment? And basically the 19 is the commencement of what we call the mystical circuitry. And it starts in the root center at the 19, goes all the way up to the 20 in the throat center, the gateway of now. So the journey of the 19 is to find out what do people need to get on their spiritual path here, to start commencing their journey towards unification, to go through the identity process until they find out presence is what the life story is all about. That's what the spiritual journey is all about at the 20th gateway. So 4 directions, 44, coming to meet. Yeah, coming to meet. And the 24, what's the story here? What's it all work out to be? What's the refined mental viewing of what this is? The 33, retreat, so everything can settle in and I can have a good story to tell about it all. And the 19, approaching, meeting out, what does everybody need here? So the 4 directions, people with this life theme, it's almost like in their life, they have so many years of going out to explore the world, extrovert, play with everything. And then sure enough, they go back in and write a book about it or sit with it or, don't feel they have to experience anything more until everything has settled. The sun then moves on into the 4th line. And the 4th line always opens the door to influencing other people. And it's a fixed fate profile. So a fixed fate profile has a set program for this lifetime. It's almost like a autopilot. It's just, this is where my life experience is taking me. And so the 44, this gateway of instinct and this appreciation of patterns, recognizing how things are all threaded together. The 24, again, the process of working it all out on a mental level. What does it all mean to us? And then also the unconscious sun has slipped into the gateway number 7. This is the gateway in traditional I Ching. It's called the army. I call it the gateway of uniformity. Right? How do all things come together so that they can move into a secured future? And then the 13, the gateway of the listener, the gateway of fellowship with mankind. And in a first line there, which is very, very attuned to whatever it is going on around, like really listening into things on a profound level. First line is always a very physical experience of things. So people with this unconscious 7 and unconscious 13 are really tuning into the environment around them and where things are going. And so necessarily we call this the fixed life theme of alertness, constantly tuning in. What is it that's happening here? Where are things taking us? Then the life theme moves on into the interpersonal life theme of incarnation. To me, this is one of the absolutely fascinating of the 192 different life themes. They're all fascinating. But incarnation, coming into the flesh, right? Literally coming into a physical form. Now, goodness knows there are multiple dimensions in this and other universes. But on planet Earth, we got the carbon-based life form thing here. We got this body that somehow works for us, takes us through our life experience. And so I've always been fascinated by people with this particular life theme. And my experience of them is they're all living a slightly different life than what I would normally consider a human life to be. It's almost like, they're checking this thing out in the physical. They may have been in some other life form, in some complete, I don't say this for a given, but I'm very delighted when I meet somebody in this life form because it just gives me an expression. This is somebody that's really trying out life in the physical. And really that's what they're here for. And they're necessarily wise and they're necessarily able to give guidance. They may come from a highly evolved civilization somewhere and they just play a very particular part here. So conscious sun in the 44, the gateway of patterns, like tuning into life, constantly examining what the life story is all about. All gates in the spleen center, instant recognition of things. The 24, again, this ability to really work things out on a profound level, to refine a mental viewing of it all. Sun in the unconscious sun in the 7, this thing of leadership and this thing of guidance and aiming things towards an assured future. And the unconscious earth in the 13, this listener, constantly tuning into whatever it is that's playing out around here. People with this particular interpersonal incarnation life theme, like coming into the physical. Matthew McConaughey, right? Again, a most unusual presence here on this planet. Seems to be able to make up life as he goes along. Genius actor and all of that. Kathy Griffin, you know, this lady with the bright red hair who got in real trouble when she held up a image, like a piece of a head that represented Donald Trump, and got in terrible trouble for that. And then Laura Bush, the wife of George Jr. Bush, the president of the United States. People living a very unusual kind of a life experience, presenting themselves in a very different way. Like, what is life in the flesh all about? People with the personal life theme of the four directions. Marie Antoinette, you know, the French empress. You know, oh, life is so great. It's so, not so good. Toni Collette, this genius Australian actress, just a delight to watch. And Tim Cook, the guy that runs Apple these days. You know, the four directions, you know, always exploring different aspects of life experiences. All of these life things in our Book of Destinies, available in all good bookstores and, of course, on Amazon. And there's part of the Human Design Trilogy available as a set or as individually. Start with the Human Design book on the left, go into the Book of Lines to really fine-tune exactly what goes on in your life story. And then the Book of Destinies tells you all about your life theme for this lifetime. Precious. Talk to you soon.